Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday. Look at us. It is August and I almost cannot believe it. I keep saying this, but it's gonna happen. It's the morning due for certified doers just like you. I'm Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District, making sure that I go live on on all those spaces and places. Yo, how are you this morning? How goes it, doer? How goes it? How goes it? I definitely want to know. We're in for it, right? This is the one time every 4 years where we get all the people that we possibly can engaged and moving forward. So I want to know, how goes it? Before I do, as you tell me how you do, doer, how you doing? I want to make sure that I put out there that if you have access to a 13 or 14-year-old, someone that'll be 13 or 14 before, I think it's January 8th. Let me just double back on that, make sure I know the date we're starting. But if you know a 13 or 14-year-old, look, we've got to get more little citizens into the Virginia Page program. This program, which is phenomenal, is where these 13 and 14-year-olds come up to the Capitol and they're actually able to work with us, make some coins. It's been around since 1849. Um, Everything's paid for, their lodging, their eating expenses. They get a stipend, and it equips these students to really actively engage with citizenship. It focuses on the lawmaking process. They are in the room where it happens, and also kind of gives them these workplace skills. So um, if you know a 13 or 14-year-old, they have to be 13 or 14 before we start session. I believe that's Wednesday, January 8th. The most successful ones will have a little bit of drive, will have some initiative, committed to working, listening, and have a positive attitude, right? So I'm going to drop in the chat for you all to see a sort of drop it in the chat, a frequently asked questions. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do one even better, because that program is in the House and the Senate. So there are pages that are selected. There are like 26 pages selected for the Senate, and I believe there are 30, I can't remember, about 30 or so for the House. So each chamber has a different process that they go through to be able to, for these little citizens to be able to be a part of the program. So it will behoove they've got to get a letter of recommendation from their senator or their delegate. It doesn't matter where they are in the Commonwealth. We got to get more of our little citizens taking advantage of this program. So I just put the link on both, on all the platforms. Hopefully you got it. What's going on with Instagram? For some reason, it's not letting me do anything over there. That's fine. We'll figure it out. I'll cross the line with it. But great program, great opportunity. What I'm going to also do for us, for the good of the order, is I'm going to scroll across the screen as much information as I know about the program. But while I'm doing that, you can go ahead and drop your comments, your questions in the chat. Remember, this is your time. Don't forget, this is your time. So this is your time to sort of ask the questions, do all the things. I love to talk. I'm telling a fib. I don't love to talk, but I know it's a part of the job. So I do it because I got to. Let's see what's happening here. For some reason, I cannot scroll on this page. But for Mary Davis, is it just for 13 or 14? Can they be older? Yes. The state level program for the Page program, they have to be 13 or 14. However, there is a federal level program for the U.S. Senate and the U.S. Congress, where they can be, I believe, a senior and a junior in high school. I don't quote me on that, but I know it's for high school students. It's a good opportunity. I've had pages come back to me and ask me if I could write a letter of recommendation for them because they're headed to the federal page program, which again is a phenomenal opportunity for them to engage. Those kids come out of there with at least $5,000 in their hand on a long session. I know they do. I know they do. They come out with some good money. For some reason, there's an error. I hope y'all. I'm trying to get make sure we're good to go. I don't want to lose Instagram, but it feels like I'm about to. So forgive me, y'all, if I do. It's not letting. I'm gonna lose. Yeah, I lost him. All right. So we're having some technical difficulties. While I deal with the technical difficulty, what I will say is today, as Miss Charlene just mentioned, that it's gonna be rough out there, right? So please make sure that y'all know that when it rains, it floods. When it rains, it floods. That's just kind of how it works. Oh, it came right back to it. When it rains, it floods for us. So like that's a real thing. I do not want y'all out here setting yourself up for failure because you decided that you was going to play with this rain in Norfolk specifically. All right. Do not forget that. I'm still, so does the program include transportation? No, the program does not include transportation. Let me post this. It does not include transportation. What ends up happening is on the weekends, you have to come up and get your child, or some delegates. I know some of the delegates that I know, they will sometimes be the ride for the child, coordinate with the parent if they're amenable to that. A lot of times you get the opportunity to get to know these young people. So yeah, the transportation is not included, but please do not let transportation be a barrier. Please do not do that. Please, if that's a thing, then let us know. It is a village mentality. There's plenty of folks that I think we can pull together to try to help a little citizen that's motivated enough to do this, to be able to have the transportation to go back and forth. Don't let that be the reason that we stop a little citizen from being a part of this program. Sound good? Won't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to do that. So, secondly, let's get to like what's happening outside of this rain, which we're going to have through through Saturday, probably. Unfortunately, that means that I'm going to have to cancel my certified doer field day. So if you're planning on coming out and seeing us this Saturday at 11 at the park, we have canceled certified doer field day because the ground's going to be nasty, and that's just we're not going to do that to y'all. We're not going to do that. We're going to roll what we got, and we're going to have a good time and make fun where we can make fun. So Mary Davis, you said the link will not open. Typically on Instagram, you won't be able to click the link to open it. So if you just Google Virginia page program, and then if you Google or go to General Assembly, virginiageneralassembly.gov, I believe is the website where you can also find, I'm just double check and make sure. Yeah, virginiageneralassembly.gov. That will also get you to the information on the page program as well. So that should be, but we got to share this, right? We got to make sure that we're sharing this. So if you're an educator, or you know an educator of ninth, sometimes I'll say anywhere between 7th and 9th grade is where that 13-year-old group fall. Let's get them in there. Let's get them applying, right? Applications are due for the House. For the Senate, they're due on October 1st. And for the House, they are due on October 18th. And that is right around the corner. So let's not forget that. Sound good. Sound great. Please, while I'm talking, if you have any events, you have anything going on, anything you want me to shout out, questions you want to ask, please do not hesitate to put those things in our chats, because that's what this time is for. That's what this time is for. Uh, so I'll talk a little bit about what we have going on next Thursday, or excuse me, Thursday the 20th. We're going to be doing another one of our live roundtables. If you guys have gotten the chance to experience the live roundtables, they were great. Okay, the first one we did on social media and youth was phenomenal. And I'm not saying that because I did it, because I usually don't brag on my work like that. But I'm going to brag on it. The first one we did was on uh, um, youth and social media. The second one we did was on the childcare industry here at Hampton Roads, which was really amazing. And then this one is going to be on AI. And I think we're going to do AI in education, because that's something that people have been like asking about. Like, what is the state of education going to be with the advent of AI? And here's the deal. We thought that it was going to be blown to pieces when Google came about. So I am interested in your feedback too, because we're still building the program. So let me know if there's something that you're most interested in with AI. Teresita, hi, how are you? Another person that cares about babies, cares about these babies. Good morning. Oh, Miss Christopher. Miss Charlene, I agree. That first panel, I was so impressed with those young people. If you get a chance to go back and watch, I think I need to take some snippets from them just so that I can like share it. But it was really, I was very impressed by these young people, young adults. I learned something. I'm learning how to set boundaries and do all the things that they do to protect themselves. So this next one I think will be pretty amazing on AI. So do not hesitate to join us. It's an hour long. It is a living room conversation. We're not trying to have this is not techie. This is so that you can understand the reason why that I'm doing these roundtables, which we're on the third one, is because y'all, I'm in the process of building my legislative agenda. So if you've been hearing me talk a lot about legislation, that's because this is the time where you all can give feedback, and it's your opportunity to say, hey, I'm thinking of this idea. We did have our legislative pitch contest 2 weeks ago. It was great. I just did follow-up phone calls yesterday for folks that pitched at our pitch contest. And y'all, this is what I do. I don't be trying. This is what I do. I make sure I listen to the community all summer. So from June, July, August, I'm trying to hear y'all out as best I can. So if you're not interfacing with us throughout the summer on bills and things like that, then there's a likelihood that I won't be able to support for the 2025 session, because 2025, it's like tomorrow for me. And then I should be able to give you a snapshot of what my legislative agenda looks like by Halloween. So by October 31st, all the work that I'm going to be doing, all the work that my team should be doing, all the work we should be getting from the community, should have our legislative agenda donezo, like complete, ready to rock, ready to roll. Because come November, like I give my team the month of December off. At least half of December they need to take off, because when we get rolling in legislative session, there's no slowing down. I ask a lot of them because we have standards over here, so I need them to rest up. And then November, we're actually workshopping our bills and making sure people have drafts and getting those last minute feedback. So if you know anybody, if you know people, especially in that district, that are just like, they don't know, like they're not sure how to interface, this is the time. This is the time. And if you've got questions about any things that we are doing legislatively, the best thing you can do is ask. You can do it on social. You can do it on all the spaces and places. But we're rolling. So I, as the subcommittee chair, and if you haven't been to summer school, you should have went. It was good. So I'm a subcommittee chair for 3 committees, which means I'm chairing committees that I'm hearing bills when they're getting heard for the first time, when public comment is being made. And so I'm trying to really, really make sure that if I know a bill was really controversial, that I bring it forth. So why did we do the social media roundtable? We did that social media roundtable because I saw this is the third year in a row I'm seeing a TikTok bill, right? So like when I first came, there was a TikTok bill, the second year, the third year, and now I'm chairing the committee that hears those bills. So we got to have a conversation about social media. That's why that roundtable happened. And so we're trying to create these spaces where these things I know I'm going to see. So AI is one, right? I'm chair of subcommittee chair for elections administration. So right before the election, we're going to have a live roundtable where we talk about election reform, if you know, because that's a thing. And then lastly, we're going to talk about speed cameras because I chair the subcommittee for transportation on transportation innovation. And by that time, I am sure by the time we do, I think it's October, by the time we do the roundtable on speed cameras, y'all, school's going to be back. So the speed cameras are going to be active. This is going to be the first school year where these cameras are active, and y'all going to have a lot to say. Somebody gonna tell you how they got a ticket in the mail because they were speeding through a school zone. So we and what we can do, or I wasn't speeding, or it wasn't me driving, all of that. So this is that time when we start talking about automated justice, when we start talking about transportation safety, particularly in school zones. And I know that like all of this conversation is gonna come together. So we're doing it now. I never want to walk up in Richmond and be like, I don't know what at least some of my constituents thinks. Y'all don't think all the same. But if I haven't talked to somebody in the community about it, I do feel some type of way. I'd like to know so that at least I can come from a space of I've talked to a couple of people in the community and this and X and Y, rather than, just speaking from my own conviction, which I have to do sometimes, right? This is why we live in a constitutional democratic republic, right? That document that says you get to choose who represents you. You have chosen me to represent you. So sometimes I'm going to have to make some decisions without knowing all the things, but I want to know as much as I can. So feel free to interface. With that being said, I recognize that we are in the midst of the most engaged time that people get about elections. And sometimes I'll just tell you this, sometimes I feel like the presidential elections, they come around, they're like that cool girl or cool guy or the doc. They come around and they sort of suck up all of the attention. And it makes it difficult sometimes to get people to focus back on the state and the local level after they graduate, after they leave, and then the next cool kid comes back in the next 4 years. But the stakes are really high for next legislative session. And next year, we also have gubernatorial elections. So we'll be selecting our governor, and the entire House of Delegates will be on the ballot next year. So this next session, why it's so important, this next session is you're going to have a lot of people trying to position themselves in ways and do, I hate to put it this way, do outrageous things for attention or we probably going to see some stuff, right? Just because, like, check this, right? Just because we'll have a new president, no matter who it is, right? We'll have new executive leadership at the federal level. And then everybody in the House of Delegates is going to be on the ballot. People do weird stuff. I don't even know how to explain it. So number one, they're either doing things to spite the fact that their candidate did or did not make it at the national level. Number two, they're doing interesting things. And again, I am not pointing to one side of the aisle. I'm just saying in general, politicians or elected officials do some interesting things when it's election time. There is always a hint and undertone of pandering in politics. Let's just all agree to that. There's some level of pandering that happens. So through legislation, through action, through all the things, we can expect that 2025, which is right around the corner, right? I think I said that the session always starts on the second Wednesday, and I believe the second Wednesday is August 8th, is that there will be a hefty level of attention that's going to need to be paid to both state and local politics. Right now, for the city of Norfolk, we have 2 seats on our city council up for reelection, or up for election on the ballot, excuse me, up on the ballot. And then we have 2 seats on our school board on the ballot. And then our mayor position is on the ballot. So what we decide right now, and I just have to say this, even as a state level elected, you're going to hear this all the time. I know people say it, but I mean it. I mean it because I live it, is that all politics are still local. And while everybody may be paying attention to while everyone's paying attention to the presidential race, we've got to remember that we have these elections for mayor, council, and school board on the ballot, and that those races are going to play a major role in voter turnout, right? And how, for me, again, I'm center back myself, those elections are going to play a very big part in how next year's legislative session and gubernatorial races will shape. Right? So who do I get at who's going to be an executive partner at the state level? Who are going to be my partners? How my current partners, in a sense, the 99 other folks that sit in the House Act, is going to be really dependent upon what happens over this next election. Because I want you to also keep in mind, and I keep reminding y'all, that when we were looking at all the craziness that was happening from 2020, 2021, doing all of that started on school boards, right? The wildest stuff we were hearing about, how crazy hot and heated the school board meetings were. That's local. How these towns were doing some weird stuff about letting businesses do certain things or not do certain things. That's all local. That's that local-ish. And so keeping our eye on that. And so what we are doing from our office, and this is an ask, and if you have any questions or any comments, please, y'all go ahead and put them, you can put them in the chat. I'm here for it. So what we're going to be doing is sort of leading an effort along with some of our city leadership to build the local states, just to sort of build a local and state elections oriented campaign, because we've got to organize Norfolk, and I feel a responsibility to maximize Norfolk's voter turnout and to carry this momentum, not just into November, but through November into the next General Assembly session and then the 2025 elections. Does that make sense? That is a responsibility that I personally have, because I know what it looks like to sit in that chamber and be like, what we gonna do? We're not trying to do that. I know what it's like to leave Richmond, come back home, and be like, what in the world? Like, what is happening? What is even happening, right? Like, I'm still a constituent, all right? Period. So I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that Norfolk is the most engaged city in the entire freaking Commonwealth. While we tend to vote a particular way, I want to walk in that chamber and they be like, you know what city had the highest voter turnout in the Commonwealth? Norfolk. and I want to be able to say Hampton Roads showed up. Hampton Roads showed out. Like, that makes a difference, because and I'm not even going to ask for forgiveness, because it is true, and it has been culturally a thing, is that all politics are not party driven. Sometimes we have issues regionally, right? A region, I'll just use one for example. Let's just say the Southwest region decides that, let me not even give an example. Let me just be straight up, because an example ain't going to do nothing for you. Because the Northern Virginia delegation is so big and so massive, business tends to roll around how they want to do business, right? Like it's a weird thing that regionally I have to remind them, like, I don't live in Northern Virginia. I ain't got nothing against Northern Virginia, but that's not where I live. That's not how I roll. And like, also put some respect on Hampton Roads, because there ain't nobody winning no elected office statewide or federal if they don't get Hampton Roads, period. So let's go. So there's that aspects of things. We've got some work to do. I'm hoping that you guys are able to be participatory in that and take this momentum past. This for me over this next couple of days as we get ready to launch our efforts. It ain't going to be a typical campaign because we're doing a voter engagement campaign. We won't be doing just some boring phone banks and canvas. We're trying to bring people in to access government services, to become engaged in grassroots community oriented activism, and that is real. And I need you for that. That means if you got something going on, you got a good program, you got a good organization that you want us to shout out, let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Ms. Shar, I appreciate that. Ms. Shar says, as a citizen, we need to vet and learn about our candidates to know as much as possible. I'll tell you this. I used to be like, why people don't know these people? Because you out here trying to live. I had my neighbor straight up. I was getting in the car, y'all. That's a dangerous thing. My neighbor rode past, and I love him. And he was like, "Look, what we doing?" And I was like, "Yes, what we doing?" That is shout out to Mr. Little. It's like, what we doing? What we got? Who on the ballot? What's happening? You be that person, because life is what it is, and we can't all pay attention to all things all the time. But that's why we're a village, right? Everybody got their role. And if you're the one who stays connected to what's going on locally and what's going on at the state department, if you're the one showing up to the morning dew, then you the plug, you the election plug. So you just gotta let people know, like, hey, yo, like, this is where we're at. Because yes, as a citizen, I'm looking at candidates for the school board. I'm looking at candidates for the city council. I'm looking at candidates for the mayor, and I'm making a decision of like, who has been serving. I'll check the record. Who is going to be operating in the best interest of my children, of my little citizens in my community? Like, everybody got, and the fortunate thing is the majority of the candidates have a record. They do. And you should Google them. I'm just kidding. No, you ain't got to Google them. And I'm always going to be straight up. I will never say who to vote for. I will never say we voting for this person. Anybody that asks me, I won't say we voting for this person, but I will say that here is a candidate that I don't have a lot of faith in to get the work done. Here is a candidate that I think I'm working on or trying to do X, Y, and Z. I will say that. Or I'll just say, I can tell you what I'm not voting for. And you got some options, because I believe that it is a collective effort. It is a collective we that has to get the job done. So not playing there. Please don't forget, you all, there is some work to do. We have to make sure we take this momentum and move it through 2025. I'm going to reiterate the PAGE program, right? I want to make sure that I get that PAGE program out there. 13 or 14-year-old by top of January, they can apply for the program. I put the links in the chats. If you're just like, I don't know, Jackie, just Google Virginia PAGE program and you'll be able to get to that. Remember, on August 20th, live on all the spaces and places. And if you know someone that does not have social media, it goes live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. X doesn't allow us to do lives on there anymore. That's just a thing. They just stopped that. So I can't, Twitter, X, however you want to call it, I'm not able to live stream on there because they just don't allow for it anymore. But we'll be in all the places, and we'll have a direct link for those folks who don't necessarily have social media, which is cool in the gang for me. I'm checking any community events, any questions, any comments, any concerns. I will ask, as I always do. You can join our newsletter for our updates. We do put out updates on things. Remember, this weather is going to take us through. It's just going to be wet. It's looking like that we're going to get maybe 3 to 4 inches of rain. That's the last report that I got from the Virginia Emergency Management. The best thing to do is please do not drive through large bodies of water. Okay, there's a lot of lakes out there, and Norfolk turns into the Great Lakes when it rains like this. So stay out of the lake, right? Don't try to push through. I'm serious. I'm serious. Don't be one of them videos. I have a friend who works at a spot where people typically you can see them and go thinking about life. about whether or not they will go through their puddle. And she sends me these little videos asking me just why. And I can't explain. I 100% can't explain why. Um, if so, definitely want you to keep stay up to date. So go to delegatejackieglass.com and you can go let the doers get the work done. You can sign up there. If you have any questions, comments, don't hesitate to email our office that's scrolling across the screen, dljglass@house.virginia.gov. If you got specific concerns, hit us up. You can always give. Remember this work: no money, no mission. This mission does not go without funding. So we're as we have our fundraisers and things coming up, we're asking you to play a part in that. For 2025, because we are not allowed to fundraise while we're in session. So when I gavel in to go do the work in Richmond, I cannot fundraise at all. So I have to make sure, for me, I have to fundraise enough to operate my office all the way through the end of session. So this time I have to get enough, gain enough funding to make it to, I'd say, March, probably April, because you don't want to get out of session and then you like, oh, I can't take care of this, this, and this. So we're fundraising. Our ask is put us in your budget for $25 for 25 a month for the year of 2025. So give $25 a month for 2025 if you are able, but that's what we do. Y'all know where I'm hoping, I thought we would have our transparency document out for y'all so you can see exactly how we're spending what you're providing for us, what you are providing to us, because I think you should know how I'm spending your money. Last but not least, and I'm going to make sure, are there any questions, comments, concerns, winning lottery tickets? But we've got some cool fundraisers coming up. I think you guys will enjoy them. I think you'll enjoy them. All right, so be on hot standby. So I don't see no questions, no comments. Be on hot standby because we will be launching something really big. And it's voter engagement, a nonpartisan effort to run let me not talk because I'm about to give it away. We got good work we're doing. Until next time, and I'm making sure I'm not forgetting or missing anybody's comments. Am I? No. Oh, this is what I forgot to do. I want to shout out those folks that pitched at the pitch contest. That is, we had a 15-year-old student from Booker T. Washington pitch ways to get students engaged and to help teachers with disciplinary challenges in the classroom. Peyton, we are proud of you. Thank you so much for pitching. We had a woman come from Fairfax, Virginia, Mary, to talk about Medicaid and government program fraud and how we can do more auditing there to make sure that the state government is not defrauding federal programs, because that's also a thing. We had Lynn, thank you so much, who talked about court involved parents that have the child support system where they start out in the rears. Like if someone goes, there's two separate process, and putting someone in significant debt as she works with these people to go through the child support process, and how detrimental it is for us to do that, and some ways that we can pull that together. And then thank you so much, Jennifer. Jennifer talked about I didn't know about this. There's a thing called Virginia Correctional Enterprise, where the folks that are incarcerated neighbors are making all the furniture. They're doing manufacturing and these things, and state agencies are mandated to buy from there, and the amount of money they're making to work, and that there's got to be a way to help them work on whether they owe restitution, child support, or thing because of how much they're selling the furniture for. I didn't even know it was a whole enterprise, like state. Mine blown. So I want to thank these. We had all women pitch, y'all, and a young woman pitch. I love it. I love to see it. Each of these problems disproportionately affected their community. And I'm grateful that you all showed up and gifted your time. I'm going to give them a round of applause and say, y'all, this is the time. If you're not engaging about legislation, this is the time, because come September, I'm going to start drilling down. So if you've got questions, you've got comments, you're interested in how to engage, let me know. This is the time, okay? All right, so I don't have anything in the chat. I'm running my mouth. I'm proud of everybody that pitched at the pitch contest. Until next time, y'all, I am Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 93rd District. You know where to catch me. I appreciate you. Go do great, be great. All right? It's been the morning dew for certified doers, just like you. Be well. Don't forget, field day is canceled. It's canceled.